front of them.
Yes, there is a standard for him. There is a standard for him, and he's very particular. He is very disciplined, goes in order. He ensures, you know, that standard is attained by him. So I think people who love Virat Kohli will definitely vouch for it, that, you know, the kind of discipline, what was not there earlier, but he brought in this discipline through this strict control regime, the strict controlling in his life.
Absolutely correct.
So he's just motivated, and he's motivated many others to actually achieve those goals.
So again, we'll come back to controlling, and we'll come back to it that when the standards are there right in front of you, you are feeling motivated and you will be able to definitely achieve your goal. Now, the sixth importance, facilitating coordination and action. Now, if you want to achieve that goal of going to SRCC by getting 98-99%, you have to coordinate various things. You have to, early morning, you'll have to come to school. You'll have to attend your classes. You'll have to sit for your weekly test, monthly test, your unit test, your half yearly and everything. And you will also have to study your books, your NCERT. You will have to go through the sample papers given by CBSE and everything. When all your actions are coordinated well, then only the goal can be achieved. So what is controlling doing? Controlling is telling you, it is helping you, it is facilitating you in coordination and action so that your goal can be achieved. Okay, children? So I think you have understood the importance of controlling. Can we proceed further, Sindhu ma'am? Okay,
yes,
now there are certain questions related to it. Let's see. First one, controlling is an indispensable function of management. Can you give any 3 reasons for this? Now, children, when you see this word indispensable, you know the meaning of this word already. Indispensable means something very important. Now, controlling is a very, very important function of management. How? Do you agree to it? Can you give any 3 reasons of it? The moment this is given over there, automatically, you know, we are talking about the importance of controlling, because indispensable word is there. So we are talking about why controlling is such an important function of management. So you will give any 3 importance of management. Just now we have done 6 importance. You will give any 3 out of those 6. Second question. Does control helps in judging the accuracy of standards and improving motivation of the employees? Again, children, we are talking about 2 importances of controlling over here. One is judging the accuracy of the standards, and the second one is improving motivation of employees. So you are going to explain only these 2 standards. Children, let me lay stress once again. You have to stick to the subheadings. Very important they are, and in NCERT, whatever subheadings are there, you should definitely put it even in your answer sheet. Those subheadings secure marks. Yes, ma'am.
One more thing, ma'am. There's a small tendency for students. Okay, fine, maximum they'll ask is 6 points, 5 points, 4 points. So they don't tend to they ignore the other points. They will learn the first 4 points or first 5 points. That's a wrong practice. You need to understand that you need to know all the points, because any
absolutely, absolutely, you need to understand all the points properly. Okay, children? Okay, so can we proceed further? Okay, now there is a case study. Ma'am, can you read the case study for me? And before we read the case study, as ma'am has told you, as we are already aware, even your teachers in your school might have told you the same thing. Children, we will first read the question and then we will read the case study. The question is, can we go back to the previous slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, the question, first part of the question, A part, in the above case, which function of management is highlighted? Okay, we are saying function. Remember, 5 functions are there: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So we are talking about any one function out of these 5 functions. See, the children, the word is function, not functions. So we are just talking about one function. And second part, discuss its 3 importance of the function that has been highlighted above. Okay, so whatever function we identify in the first part, in the second part, we will discuss any 3 importance of that function. So ma'am, can you please read it for us?
Yes, ma'am. Rolling Eagle is an organized firm. The firm has been considered as one of the major producers of steel in the manufacturing industry. A group of people from foreign countries have come to India to find out why they're so successful, and this has led to a great increase in the management. That part is not clear. The company has reached this place because of a lot of research and application of the various functions. Every person knows what he has to do, and this has led to the achievement of great skill development at per employee level. And the company has essentially a monitoring cell which keeps a track of all the major deviation that happens around.
Now, children,
This is the reason.
Yeah, children, you have to underline this line. They are telling you the company has a monitoring cell which keeps track of all major deviations. The moment we are talking about monitoring cell, we are talking about controlling the CCTV in your school, the CCTV in the office. They are basically the items, the devices which are meant for controlling process. So again, here we are talking about the controlling process. And again, when the other word is telling you the major deviations, you know, we talk about deviations in the controlling process only. So again, if you read these two lines, you know we are talking about the function that is controlling. Yes, ma'am? So now you will be speaking about three importance in that particular question. Now let us proceed further. Now we are going to talk about the relationship between planning and controlling. Children, this is a very, very important question from the board examination point of view. It can be a 3-marker question. It can be a 4-marker question. Question can be framed in the form that what is the relationship between planning and controlling, or it can be framed in the form that are planning and controlling independent functions or interdependent, or it can be formed that are planning and controlling forward looking functions or backward looking functions, or both. So question can be in any form, answer has to be the same. So if we are talking about the relationship between planning and controlling, children, I will go back to the same example which I gave you. That is, your goal, your aim, which you set at the beginning of the year, was to achieve 98 or 99% so that you can go to SRCC. That was your goal which you set in your planning process, isn't it? So that was the first thing that you did in planning. Then throughout the year, you were continuously preparing yourself in such a way so that you can achieve that goal of 98 or 99% at the end of the year, isn't it? So tell me, children, if that goal was not there in front of you, going to SRCC by acquiring 98, 99%, wouldn't it had been a mindless thing to be working without knowing for what I'm working for? Isn't it? So that's why planning is extremely important before you start with the controlling process. So controlling is basically a rudderless process if that plan, that goal is not there right in front of you. Similarly, children, I have planned that I want to go to SRCC by acquiring 98, 99. But if I'm not working hard to achieve that goal, is it of any use to have that goal in life? Definitely not, children. So again, planning is useless without controlling. So when we are talking about the relationship between the two, you are going to write the very first thing: planning without controlling is meaningless. Just now I've given you the example. Second, controlling without planning is again blind. It is of no use. Third, planning is prescriptive.
Ma'am, can I just for a minute?
Yeah.
Ma'am, we said planning without controlling is meaningless, right? That means if you say, okay, fine, I'm going to get 98 marks and I don't work for it, it's of no use.
It is useless. Right? It is useless.
Yes, precisely. Yeah. And there are students who don't have any objectives, so they kind of waver and they don't have any targets. So nothing much great is achieved.
Exactly, exactly.
So very well explained, ma'am, that you need to have a goal, you need to have a standard, and is blind without it.
Yes, anyway. Exactly. Then the third thing that you're going to write over here is planning is prescriptive, whereas controlling is evaluative. Children, see, we have put the words in bold. Prescriptive. Why planning is prescriptive? You know about the prescription given by the doctor. What does he do in that prescription? He just writes, if you say, for example, if you have flu or if you have any other problem, you go to the doctor, he makes a prescription where he writes that, okay, these are the different medicines that you're going to take for a period of say 3 days or 5 days. And he will also tell you what food you're going to eat, what precautions you are supposed to take, so that ultimately you achieve the goal of good health, isn't it? So planning is prescriptive, which is just writing a prescription, which is just telling you, which is just prescribing you that this is your goal and you have to achieve this goal. And for achieving this goal, what you have to do, who's to do what has to be done, when it has to be done, that planning is telling you. Now, You come back home and you will have to start working as per the prescription which doctor has given. You are going to eat the food which doctor has written in the prescription. You are going to behave in the manner that doctor has told you. You're going to take the medicines which are given in the prescription at the right time. So in controlling, what are you doing? It is an evaluative process. You are now working on it. You are evaluating it so that you can achieve the goal of good health. Fourth thing, planning and controlling both are forward as well as backward looking. We will be discussing this in detail later on. So I'm not discussing it right now, but this line has to be written in the answer. It is an extremely important line and it has to be explained also, which I'll be doing in the next slide. Next is planning and controlling reinforce each other. Definitely. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a standard, what are you going to work for? Just now, ma'am also told you, if you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know that, yes, I want a body like Virat Kohli, what are you going to exercise for? Isn't it? So plan is important. And if you have a plan, you have to work for it. So controlling is equally important. So they are reinforcing each other. Okay. Next, planning is based on facts. Planning based on facts makes controlling easier and effective. And the last one, controlling improves future planning by providing the required information from the past experiences. So when the relationship is asked, you are definitely going to write that both are needed. Both are dependent on each other. They are interrelated. One is prescriptive, other is evaluative. And last thing, but not the least, and most important, you are definitely going to write that both are forward looking as well as backward looking. Now let us discuss this point, because a separate question can be formed on this point, that how planning and controlling are both forward looking as well as backward looking. Let us discuss this thing. Now you can see the flow chart right here. Now children, here, before I explain this to you, I would like to tell you that wherever possible, children, give flow charts in your answer. It improves the quality of your answer and it will help you to achieve that 100 which you are looking for. Okay, so flow chart is very important. Now let us go as per the flow chart. You can see, children, first of all, we make a plan. We set a standard. We set a goal that we have to achieve the goal of getting 98, 99% in the board examination so that I can go to SRCC. This is my standard, this is my goal, which planning has set. So what is planning doing, children? Planning is looking into your future and setting the standard for the future. So because planning is looking into the future, we say planning is looking forward. Okay, you can see in the flow chart also. Now comes controlling. What happens? Can we go back? Yeah. Now comes controlling. Now what happens in controlling? Plan has already been formed. 98, 99% is required to go to SRCC. Now controlling will do what? You will start working on that. You will start using all your resources effectively and efficiently so that you can achieve this goal of achieving 98, 99% in the exam so that you can go to SRCC. So what you do the performance? At the end of the year, your performance will be measured, marks will be given to you, and it will be checked whether you were able to achieve that 98 or 99. So what is controlling doing? Controlling is measuring the performance that you have already done.
So what you need to understand is that controlling is both, like ma'am emphasized, is a backward-looking function as well as a forward-looking function. See, why is controlling a backward-looking function? What is controlling doing? It's basically analyzing what happened in the past. It's a post-mortem of the past activities. Now, I always emphasize that you need to write this word post-mortem. Fine? It's a post-mortem of the past activities as such. So you try to find out what has been going wrong so that in the future you can make those corrections. So controlling is backward looking function because it is checking on what happened previously. Like after paper, you try to analyze what happened. You're trying to find out what mistakes happened. And then you're doing an analysis of that. That is a post-mortem of that paper basically. So you're doing a post-mortem of the past activities. So that becomes a backward looking function. But you need to understand, It is because of that postmortem of past activities that I'm able to make certain changes in the future. And I'm able to make certain corrections for the future. I'm able to change the standards in the future as such. Fine. So I'm trying to ensure that through the analysis that I've done, I'm able to make my own future changes. So in that sense, controlling is forward-looking. For instance, children, the organization set a goal of 200 units. Come what may, the employees have not been able to reach 200 units. Maximum, even the best person has reached up to 800 units, 180 units. Fine. So now we did a postmortem of it. We realized that the standard set was a little too high. Based on that, we revise our standard. So what happens? Now, because of that analysis, what we did in the past, about the past activities, we are able to ensure that we have a revised standard for the future. So in that sense, controlling becomes a forward-looking function. Fine. Now, as far as planning is concerned, we always say plans are deciding in advance for the future, deciding who's to do, what to do, when to do, etc. about the future, right? So we always say as far as planning is concerned, it's basically a forward-looking function. Planning is basically a forward-looking function as such. Now, when we talk about plans, it is future, it is futuristic because this is looking ahead, planning ahead for the future. So it's an obviously correct statement that it's a forward-looking function. But planning is also a backward-looking function. Now, the question mark is how come planning is backward-looking? Now, when you develop planning premises, right, children? When you develop the planning premises, if you notice, there is one thing that you do. How do you develop your planning premises? On the basis of your past performances. Okay, your future plans are always based on the past experiences. Like as teachers, we always say, "Nee, board exam will be on March 1st," right? It's a general practice. It is a general trend there. It's a general practice there. So we're going on based on what was there earlier. Based on that only we plan. So our academic schedule is also based on that. But that's only because of the fact that we are checking out from our past experiences. We are preparing ourselves for the better future. So in that sense, children, planning and control are forward-looking functions as well as backward-looking functions. Okay, planning and controlling are forward-looking functions as well as backward-looking functions. It is very important. It is very, very important to understand that you need to quote both these sentences. Okay, you need to write that planning is both backward-looking function as well as forward-looking function, and controlling is also both forward-looking function and backward-looking function. That is why ma'am emphasized on this point. She said very clearly that planning and controlling are forward-looking and backward-looking. I hope it's clear to you as to how it is forward-looking as well as backward-looking function. Fine, children. Now, as far as this is concerned, questions can be asked. Questions can definitely be asked. So-and-so person says that controlling is backward-looking, whereas they say that controlling is forward-looking. Do you justify? Yes, you need to justify. You need to say very clearly that both are right, but the fact is that controlling is both backward-looking as well as forward-looking. Always try to give examples. Try to give examples. I just quoted a few examples that we set a standard of 200 units, and then based on the assessment or based on the evaluation or post-mortem of it, we realized that only 180 units were produced, so action was taken. So please do mention that particular aspect as well. Okay, now we'll move on to a few questions. Fine. Now tell me, no corrective action is needed when dash are within the acceptable limits. What would it be? I'm sure Meera ma'am must be finding a lot of correct answers there. Fine. I think, yes, you got it right. No corrective action is needed when deviations are within the acceptable limits as such. Fine. Next, a good control system enables the management to know whether the standards set are how are the standards set? How should the standards be set? Meera ma'am, I hope they're giving it right, because after having taken the session, I think they should be giving the answer as this. I think it's right. They've given as accurate and objective. Fine. Okay. So when ma'am was talking to you, ma'am also mentioned about the fact that planning is prescriptive, whereas controlling is what? Yes, spot on. It is evaluative. Very good. That's the way to go. Fine. Planning and controlling are interrelated. And what do they do to each other? They reinforce each other. They reinforce each other. Controlling takes place on the base of what? What is controlling based on? What is controlling based on? You tell me? Yes, the standards developed by planning. They are taken on the base of the standards which are developed by the planning. So over to Sumita ma'am. She will take forward the session there. Ma'am, a few questions which were being discussed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Children, ma'am, you have already told them how controlling and planning are both forward and backward looking.
Yes, ma'am. So, you would like to give an example? I'll go back to the slide.
Can we just go back to the slide for a minute?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Sorry, I lost my connectivity.
Absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem. There you are, ma'am. It's on the screen.
So we have already spoken that controlling was forward looking and planning, planning was forward looking and controlling was backward looking. But then I told you, children, that the question will be formed that how both are forward as well as backward. We have already spoken that planning is forward. Now let's see how controlling is forward looking. Now in controlling, children, what are you actually doing? You are finding out what were your mistakes. When you saw the deviation, you found out what were your mistakes, and accordingly you started preparing again so that you do well in the final board. Say in the pre-board you did not get the marks as you expected, so what you are going to do, you first of all find out what were your mistakes. Maybe you were not writing the answers as per the requirement, maybe you were not writing the key points, you were not underlining the key points, you were not giving the subheads, you were not making the flow chart. And after knowing what were the drawbacks, in the next exam, in the final board examination, you will do all these things. So controlling is also forward looking, because you are taking the corrective action, keeping in mind that in future the deviations doesn't happen and you achieve your goal of 98-99%. Similarly, when I say that planning is backward looking also, how, children? Simple reason is that when you make a plan for the next year, you look into your previous year's plan, you look into the previous year's performance, and accordingly decide whether the planning was correctly done or not, and whatever deviations were there, you will look into that and you will see to it that the next year's plan takes into consideration all the drawbacks of the previous year, and accordingly it is formed so that next year you have a better result. So planning and controlling both are forward as well as backward looking. In controlling, children, there is a word you can see which has been highlighted in the first point. They tell you controlling is the post-mortem. I hope ma'am has already told you. Once again, I'm just repeating it. Post-mortem, when somebody died, after the death of that person, the post-mortem is done to find out what was the cause of the death, isn't it? So similarly, controlling is done after you have already done your performance, and then it is done to find out what were the causes of deviations, the reason why you could not achieve the goal of 98-99. So it is backward looking. Okay, so I think ma'am has already explained. I have also told you, so we can go now to the next slides. Ma'am has already done this also, right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. We can go ahead with the MCQs.
Okay, so let us do the MCQs. First one, controlling is performed at which level? Top level, middle level, supervisory level, or all the levels? What do you say? Can you give your answers in the question answer round or in the chat box? Yes, it is at all level, and we have done it in the features. The feature was, can you just write the feature? What was the feature which told you that it is done at all levels? And Meera ma'am will tell us. Okay, so I think you know the answer. The answer is, Sindhu ma'am has already told you, controlling is pervasive. That was the reason it is required at all levels. Second one, under critical point control manager, first one, critically observes and takes action on every deviation. Second, ignores deviation. Third, gives more importance to deviations taking place. And fourth, none of the above. Sindhu ma'am, can you continue with it? Sindhu
yes,
ma'am, can you? Yeah.
So the answer will become, gives more importance to?
Yeah. So ma'am, please continue, because I am having some problem with the connectivity here.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. I'll take it up. The next one, measurement of employees' performance can be done dash. Okay, how we had a table. Okay, the measurement of the performance of the employee. How can you do it? By increasing the market share? Probably not. Gross profit ratio, that could be for the company. Return on investment could be for the company. What about performance report? Yes, it can be done on the basis of the
performance report. Absolutely correct. Oh, absolutely correct. So can we go to the next one now, Sindhu ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I'll take it from here. So among the following, which one standard can be? Can you read the question, ma'am?
Can be maintained in marketing. Can be maintained for marketing as such.
Okay. Okay. So the answers are cost, flow of capital, advertising expenditure, liquidity. So children, come on, tell us, what is the answer? Yes, advertising expenditure. And these things already ma'am has told you in a flowchart form, right? Rather in the tabular form, I think so, right ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next question. Which one of the following is not a step in the
controlling process of
controlling? First one, measurement of actual performance. Second, establishing reporting relationship. Third, setting performance standards. And fourth, taking corrective action. Can you just guess which one? Yes, it is establishing reporting relationship. Do you remember? You have already done this. Do you remember which chapter? Anybody? Where is this establishing reporting relationship? I think Meera ma'am must have got the answer also. It is establishing reporting relationship. If I'm not wrong, Sindhu ma'am, it's organizing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Next one, next question. When does the need for taking corrective action arises? Very important, children. One marker. So when does the need for taking corrective action? Yes, when deviations go beyond the acceptable range. And do you remember what are we talking about here? We are talking about management by exception. Okay. Second one, what is important while analyzing deviations in controlling? Do you know, children? We have already done this. But it is to determine the acceptable range of deviation and the key result areas, because we have already said if we try to control everything, we will end up controlling nothing, isn't it? Now the third one, which two steps in the process of controlling are concerned with events to conform to a plan? Okay, so the answer is comparison of actual performance with the standard and taking corrective action. These are the two steps. Okay, now there is a case study. Before we read the question, ma'am, I will again go back to what you have said and what every teacher keeps telling the students so that they get into the habit. We'll read the question first. Explain the possible reasons given by both and justify that it is correct. Okay, so now read, ma'am.
Rajiv and Sanjeev are managers in the same organization at different units. While discussing about the function of management, Rajiv says planning is looking ahead, whereas controlling is looking backwards. But Sanjeev says planning is looking back, whereas controlling is looking ahead. Both are giving reasons in favor of their statements. So now we need to justify who's right, who's wrong.
Who's wrong? So here, children, you will speak about both planning and controlling are looking backward as well as looking forward. And you will have to explain all these things. First, you will explain how planning is looking forward. Then you will explain how controlling is looking forward. Then you will explain how planning is looking backward, and then you will explain how controlling is looking backward. Each one has to be explained with these subheads also. That's very important. Your answer should be given in a systematic manner. Am I right, Sindhu ma'am?
Perfect, ma'am.
Okay, so can we go to the next? Okay, the next question. So before we read the case study, let's read the question. Which function of management is needed to ensure that the actual performance is in accordance with the performance? Can you read the rest of the part?
The performance in accordance with the time and motion studies.
Okay.
State 4 features of the function of management discussed.
Okay. The moment, children, function of management comes, immediately in your mind, the 5 functions should be there. That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And from these 5 functions, you're going to talk about any one function which is there in the case study. Now, ma'am will read the case study for you.
D&D is a large manufacturing unit. Recently, company has conducted time and motion studies and concluded that on an average, a worker could produce 120 units in a day. However, it has noticed that an average daily production of worker is in the range of about those units. Which function is needed to ensure the actual performance in accordance with the standard performance? So obviously the function is
controlling. We know that, isn't it? And the features, ma'am has already told you. Yeah, okay. So you will give any of the 4 features, okay? So the next case study, again in the next case study, before we read the case study, we will read the question. The question is, name the steps involved in the controlling process, which is being, what is it, ma'am? Which is being?
Discussed in the above lines.
Above lines, okay. So now can we read the lines?
Yeah. What do you understand by the critical point control? Explain.
Okay.
The question is not totally visible on your screen, but I'll manage it.
Okay.
Critical point control approach is followed by McDonald in the control and handling process, so that any food safety threat can be prevented, eliminated, or rectified at an acceptable level. Hence, continuous monitoring of activities are undertaken to ensure the process is right at each critical point. The main principle followed for assessing this by McDonald is less amount, many time, which can ensure high quality and high functioning, high freshness of the food. For instance, the hamburgers have to be made. A worker cannot make 4 hamburgers at a time. The time figured out for making 1 hamburger is 1 minute and 45 seconds. So he has to do it in that, he has to spread out his time there. Moreover, nearly all foods in the McDonald's have the specified time. The holding time for hamburgers is 10 minutes and for the French fries is 7 minutes. So how they make it is mentioned there, that they have to hold it for such a long time. There is a time specification given there. And if it is not sold within that time, it is thrown away. So that the freshness, the quality is actually maintained. Also, the temperature of milk which is supplied must be under 40 degrees. Otherwise, it would be returned. In this context, name the steps involved in the controlling process and what do you understand by the critical point control.
Okay. So steps you can see over here, it's analyzing deviation and taking corrective actions are being discussed here. And you know how to critical point control is where you are just controlling the key result areas, the KRAs. Okay, so you will lay stress on that. Okay, you can give an example also over here if you want, children. Next case study again, explain briefly any 2 points to highlight the importance of the controlling function. So you can give any 2 points to highlight the importance. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to read?
Yes, ma'am. And in this particular question, you can see, ma'am, there's a link between directing and controlling. Because staffing, directing, and controlling is a unit. So any question can come interlinked. Again, like you mentioned, a multidisciplinary question. So
yes.
They have to understand that all the topics can come under one particular question. In the sense, the unit wise, they have to.
Definitely.
Raghav started a takeaway eating joint in a nearby market. His business started functioning well. He ensured that the food was properly cooked, a standard taste was maintained, and packing of food was done effectively, and the orders were executed on time.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he met with an accident and was advised 3 months bed rest. Absolutely. In his absence, his cousin, Rohit, took charge of the business. When he resumed his business after 3 months, he realized that his clientele had dropped. The people were not happy with the services as the quality of food had deteriorated and the delivery time had increased considerably. All this was happening because most of the previous aspects which Rohit was adopting Raghav was adopting has been left by Rohit. Fine. As Rohit used to use and adopt a very strict authoritative approach where he did not probably talk to his employees there. He only dictated terms and did not look into other aspects. So he was very strict, authoritative. The key word there would be for understanding the leadership is authoritative.
Yes.
So can I go to the answer?
Yeah, ma'am.
2 points which highlight the importance of the controlling function. You could say that it is judging the accuracy of standard, improving employee motivation. And you tell me which is the style of leadership that has been adopted?
It is autocratic. Yes. And here, children, if you want, you can also give the diagram for autocratic style of leadership. Okay?
Precisely.
Can we go to the next one?
Yes, ma'am. I'll read the question, ma'am. You're the manager of Bharti Chemicals Limited. It's reported that the expenses have increased by 10% over standard rates, the standard rates, and the cost of raw materials. That is, the expenses have increased by 10%, and the cost of raw materials have been increased by 2%. Here the question is, which deviation would be more critical to you? Oh. Is it the petty expenses of 10%, or
not
is it
at all? It is the 2%
rate of cost of raw material, which is by 2%?
Yes, because in that case, definitely profit will get reduced by 2%. So it is a critical point control. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, if you don't mind, I'll just elaborate a little here. There are students who generally have a doubt regarding management by exception and critical point control.
Yeah.
Fine. Presume that in this particular case, we say that cost of raw materials maximum can increase by 2 to 3%. Okay. Any increase by more than say around 4% is something which is alarming, which is requiring immediate managerial attention. So for this person, a purchase manager who's looking into purchasing of raw materials, if the cost has increased by 2%, it comes within the acceptable range, not regarding this person. So in the key result area itself, when the deviation goes beyond a particular acceptable range, fine, that is when you need to have immediate management attention. Fine.
So yeah, Sindhu ma'am, if I'm right, you are actually talking about management by exception. Yes, because you are saying that these are the limits within which it is permissible, and beyond the limit, it is exceptional deviation, and it has to be.
Yes, ma'am. So the kids need to identify the difference between key result area and management by exception. Anything beyond the tolerance limit in the key result area has to be highlighted by the management. So the management by exception has to come.
Definitely.
Key result area is basically concerned with the critical areas of the organization.
Right.
Right. So, ma'am, a quick recap.
Proceed. Yeah.
A quick recap of it. Fine, children, this is just to identify the questions in case it comes this way. So we have tried to, get a few key terms there so that you are able to associate with the concepts. Fine. So if you find a statement like comparing actual performance with standard, the hint is for controlling. If you see somewhere the organization focused on a key result area, which principle is spoken about or discussed about? It is the critical point control. If you try to control everything, you may end up controlling nothing. Okay. The statement, I told you that time also when explaining, and ma'am also emphasized on it, that it is management by exception. These two sentences are very, very important. You need to understand, one, if you try to control everything, you're controlling nothing. So management has to control those things which can be under their control. It's neither economical nor easy to control each and every aspect. That means you cannot control every single aspect of work. So the core area, the key area should be taken into consideration, which is why it is a critical point control. Ma'am, you were saying something?
Yeah, no, ma'am, absolutely correct.
Okay. Now, criteria against which performance is measured. One word answer, it's a standard. Because I told you when I was talking to you about standards, I said they are the benchmarks, they are the yardstick, they are the criteria for measurement. Fine. So criteria for which performance is measured is the standard. Brings the management cycle back to planning, controlling, helps to check on changes and revise the standards. When ma'am was talking to you about judging accuracy of standards, the importance of controlling, there were 2 points there. One, whether the standards are realistic, and two, to keep a track of the environmental changes and judge the accuracy of the standards. Fine. Next, creates an atmosphere of order and discipline. Think of my Virat Kohli's example. You will end up at order and discipline. If anything happens to the key result area, the organization suffers. Once again, it is the critical point control. Like we always emphasize, there's a difference between the standard performance, actual performance. The term is deviation. Significant deviations which should be considered by the management by exception. What are personal observation, sample checking, and performance report? We've already discussed. They are the techniques of measuring the actual performance. Major deviation from standard has to receive immediate action. It is nothing but management by exception. Helps to identify critical problems which need timely action to keep the organization on track. Advantage of the critical point control. See, children, we've been trying to tell you over and over again, the boxes are very, very, very important. So many questions have been framed from those boxes. Okay. Now, don't say we learn only the boxes and we won't learn the content. Both are important. Fine. Okay. Just a quick recap. Fine. What exactly is management? Managerial control. See, it is nothing but the measurement of accomplishment against the standard and the correction of deviations to assure the attainment of objectives according to the plan. So what are we basically doing? We're only talking in terms of achieving the standards. To achieve the standards, we need to keep a track of the actual performance. In case there is a deviation, we need to correct our deviation so as to ensure we are in place. Fine. A quick recap of the features. We've already mentioned planning, controlling is goal-oriented. The main purpose of controlling is to achieve the goals of the organization. Controlling is pervasive. because it is applicable at all levels of management, be it the top level, middle level, lower level, all forms of organization. It's a cycle which brings
Both
back
backward and forward
yes.
looking function. Yeah.
Yes, it brings back the cycle.
Quick recap now.
Yes, ma'am. It is continuous, backward looking and forward looking. Now, we've already discussed the example, helps to achieve goals, judging accuracy of standards, efficient use of resources, improving motivations, order discipline, facilitates coordination. And like ma'am said, from the meaning itself, you can get the process, setting performance standards, measurement of performance,
Right.
comparison of actual, analyzing
everything. Yeah. If you know the process, and you can just sum up.
Ma'am has already highlighted about the relationship between planning and controlling. It is meaningless, blind, prescriptive, evaluative, backward, and forward-looking function. So these are the topics which are included in controlling beta. The techniques of controlling, the tools of control, methods of controlling is not in the syllabus. Fine. So you can go because there was a doubt raised about the syllabus, the deletions there. So we're telling you again, the methods of controlling is not there. Fine. So beta, I think we've done the entire book 1. The entire book 1 has been completed. So now there is nothing short of getting 100. You have to bang on target 100. I think Sumita ma'am is ready with certain tips and tricks for you to ensure that this time business studies should set records, by getting 100. Over to you, Sumita ma'am. Just guide them once again for
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So children, already every year we get a lot of hundreds in business studies, and rather this is the subject which will help you to increase your overall percentage and to achieve that goal of going to SRCC with 98-99%. So now let's see what will help you to get that 100, or what normally helps the students who get 100, what helps them. Now there are certain tips and tricks. Let us go to the tips and tricks. Okay. So the very first thing, children, remember NCERT is your Bible. You will read the NCERT from the first page till the last page, because lines from the NCERT are quoted in the question and the questions are formed. Many students are very afraid about the case studies. Case studies are nothing, children. Lines from NCERT are quoted in the case studies. Say for example, a line from features will be quoted and asked, which feature of controlling are we talking about here? A line from the importance will be quoted and it will be asked, what are we talking about here? So if you have read your NCERT, then only you will be able to answer. Okay, so NCERT is your Bible. Stick to your NCERT. Second is, you must go through the sample papers given by CBSE. Very important. At times even questions from the sample papers are put in the main examination paper. Plus, yes, if you have time, you can go through the other sample papers also, but CBSE question papers and sample papers, definitely a must. You should not sit for the exam without attempting that. Second, how should the techniques that you should keep in mind which will help you to remember the things, mind maps, acronyms, flow charts, all these things will help you to remember the things. Say for example, when
I think ma'am, in one of the sessions, Shashi ma'am's sessions, she also told them how to, create mind maps. So, like you mentioned, the kids have to create their own mind maps.
Yeah, definitely. You have to create your own mind maps. And accordingly, if you have the flow chart or the mind map right in front of you in your mind, if it is there, you know how to write the answer. You don't have to learn everything, mug up everything. Next is use of ratios of 1 mark. Use the ratio of 1 mark question for 2 minutes. So for a 1 marker question, you will not spend more than 2 minutes of time. And if I am not wrong, from now onwards, you will have 16 1 marker questions. Am I right, Sindhu ma'am? Because it's 20% of 80 marks. That's
the next session.
Okay, so that will be next session. So this session will be having 20 questions of 1 marker. Okay, so you are quite lucky. You will again have 20 questions of 1 mark. So not more than 2 minutes in a 1 marker question. Okay, then use your reading time optimally. This is the time when you should not try to look here and there. You should read the question carefully, read what is required, what is asked in the question, and accordingly think then and there itself what has to be done in that particular question. Especially children, the questions that have alternatives, read both the alternatives, because at times you might feel that the first alternative is good, but when you read the second one, you might feel that that is even better, you know the answer better. So always read both the alternatives. 15 minutes time, if you use it judiciously, you will be able to finish your paper on time and you will be able to get that 100 also. Okay, then next is underline the keywords. Most important, the keywords that we have used in the presentation also, we have laid stress during our presentation also. Please underline the keywords, underline the subheads also. If subheads are there in NCERT, do underline them also.
Ma'am, you
Okay?
can mention that they should not change the color of the ink to highlight. They should just mark it with a pen.
Yes. Please, CBSE ask you to do with blue or blue black. Blue black is again one of the shades of blue only. It is not black color. Okay. So please try to stick to your blue colored pen only. Okay. Then the next one, in the case study questions, read first the question and then go to the case study, as we have laid stress on during the session also, because then you have the goal in front of you and accordingly you can find out the answer to achieve the goal. Okay. And wherever possible, give your answer in points rather than in paragraph form. It improves the presentation of the answer, and the moment examiner sees your answer in points, he feels that yes, the child is systematic, the child knows, and accordingly marks are allotted. Okay. Then questions like differentiate and such things should be done in tabular form only. If the question is saying differentiate, please don't differentiate by giving paragraphs. Make table where there should be a basis of difference also given along with the differences that you will have to explain. Okay. And if basis of difference is not there in NCERT, you can make your own basis of difference, but try to give basis of difference. It's very important. Okay. Then must read all the options. I've told you already. Must pay attention to the words like violated, which principle is violated, which principle is followed, and state, and all these things. Okay. And children, in case the question says identify, state, it means you have to name and explain both. In only if the question says name, then only you will just name it. Otherwise, identify means name and explain, state also means name and explain. So you will have to do both. Next, stick to the word limit. Reason being that if it is a 3-marker question and if you are writing pages and pages, you are wasting your time, because you will not get more than 3 marks for a right answer. So if the keywords are there in the answer, and if whatever has been asked that has been correctly said, even within the word limit, you get the full 3 marks. So don't waste time on writing more than what is required. Okay. Prefer attempting questions in an order. Okay. And most important, children, try to start the question paper from the back, because then you have covered the maximum marks already, and right at the end when you have just half an hour left or something like that, you may not panic, because just then the 1 markers are left and you can attempt them very easily. So try to attempt the question paper from the back. Okay. And don't forget to write, most important thing, don't forget to write the correct question number and the sub part number against each question. Very important, children. Don't forget to write that. You can attempt any question as per your liking. If you know a particular question well, you can attempt that first, but the question number and the sub part should be clearly mentioned, so that the examiner doesn't give you marks for a wrong question. Okay. Then the last thing that we have to discuss over here, that is very important over here, is that children, when you are attempting your question paper, there are normally 3 sets of paper. Do write the set number also right on top. If you don't write the set number, or you write a wrong set number, your answer sheet will be marked as per the wrong set number, and because of that you might lose some very important marks, and you will not be able to achieve your target of getting 98, 99 and then SRCC. Okay. So, and right at the end, maintain your calm and be confident. You will definitely be able to do very well in the exam. Thank you very much, children. Thanks a lot. And thanks, Sindhu ma'am, and thanks, sir, for giving the students and all of us this platform through which we can discuss such an important thing. All the best to all of you.
I think we've come to the end of the session as such. I think Meera ma'am had mentioned certain questions were being raised regarding management by exception and critical point control. So once again, I'm just trying to tell you, as far as critical point control is concerned, we are not wasting our efforts looking at petty things. Our main focus is the critical area, the key result area, which is going to affect us badly. If that suffers, the entire organization suffers. We gave an example. In your textbook, it's given postal expenses. Take it as any petty expense. If you're talking in terms of labor or any production expenses related to, against the petty expenses, obviously the key result area here is only the what do you call, the labor expenses or the production related expenses, and not the petty expenses.
Can I add up, Sindhu ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
something over
Yes,
here?
ma'am,
I'll
please.
give an example over here. Say, for example, in an organization, the expenses of the postage and telegram expenses have increased by 5%, and the cost of production has increased by 2%. Now, which is the key result area over here? Which is more important for you? Now, some of you might be saying that the postage expenses have increased by 5%, so that's very important. Children, how many posts are you going to send and how much are you going to spend on that? Hardly anything. But the amount, the cost of production is a huge thing. Cost of production includes the cost of raw material, the cost of labor that you're paying, the wages and salaries that you're paying to the workers, so many expenses, everything will be included in that. So even a 2% increase in that will be a major key result area, because it is going to reduce your profit by 2%. Profit getting reduced by 2% is a huge amount. So here the key result area is the cost of production. You will lay stress on cost of production rather than laying stress, rather than looking into the postage and telegram expenses, which is again a very small part of the total expenditure of the organization. Am I correct, Sindhu ma'am?
Perfect, ma'am. Just perfect. Okay. And I think management by exception, the same thing, like ma'am has already emphasized on it. You focus only on those things which are beyond the acceptable range, which requires management attention. Otherwise, the person to whom it has been delegated can handle himself, right?
Yes.
So I don't think that, we gave an example of marks also. I said probably you had expected 85 marks and probably you came to 83, 82 or something. It's okay. You will still be able to cover up. But if your results have fallen drastically, you've come down to 60 or something, then that calls for some immediate action, that you need to work on something, or your strategy is something wrong, your way of studying is wrong. So you need to kind of do it. The same thing for management. Anything which goes beyond acceptable range has to be immediately reported to the management, especially in that key result area, which we are always focusing on. Anything beyond the tolerance limit has to go to the management.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely, children. So always remember these things. Your critical point control just lay stress on key result areas. We will use the word key result area only in critical point control. And in management by exception, we will just say that exceptional deviations will requires to be needed to be looked into, and the not so exceptional ones can be left for the time being, isn't it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So say, for example, you have your business studies practical. Okay, on the day of the practical, your file is not complete, and on the other hand, somebody's tie, your tie is also missing. So which is the key result area which is going to actually fetch you marks? It's the file which will fetch you marks. So you will have to right now pay attention towards completing your file, rather than finding out a tie which you're going to put and come for the for your viva. So here you're going to lay stress on the key result area, and just keep your you will be just looking into the key result area and try to control that only. Okay. Anything else?
Okay. Once again, children, please do remember, as far as controlling is concerned, you need to know the meaning of controlling. Features probably not very specifically given. It can be asked because concept includes meaning and features. So features of controlling has to be done. You need to know the importance of controlling. You need to know relationship between planning and controlling. It's a standard question that's generally asked. It's a very, very important question. And steps in the process of controlling. Very small chapter, easy to score. Nothing, you cannot just kind of let it go. Set your goals, aim high, do well. Okay, before I end, I really would like to thank Madan sir from the bottom of my heart. See, this is something which I've never ever done. Probably it's Madan sir's confidence in me that I would probably, be able to deliver. I really hope I've reached to sir's expectations. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Madan sir, for giving me a platform here, for having, been able to reach out to students. You've helped me do something good, and you've also built a lot of confidence in me. And thank you so much for it.
And I'm definitely sure that the students must have gained from this. You have given them a very good platform, which is actually helping them at this last hour, when hardly any time is left for their exam. So it is really helping them in their last hour.
Also, I would like to say, my kids have always been into business studies. Probably it's their passion for the subject that has always kept my spirits also really going. So my kids enjoy business studies, and I love my kids because they really, motivate me to teach more and more for them. As such, they don't mind classes of business studies. So the same passion with which sir has joined CTF to, kind of take commerce ahead, the same way, in a very small scale, I try to take my subjects on a very good scale in the school as such. So thank you, sir. Thank you for having got us here, given us an opportunity to, kind of reach out to students. I really wish they make use of all these opportunities so that the dream that we have for them actually is accomplished.
And we would also like to thank the backend people also, Meera ma'am, Monica ma'am, everybody, Meeta ma'am, for helping us with the entire session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, everybody.
Thank you all.
And all the best, children. Do your best.
Thank you so much, Sumita ma'am. You really did a wonderful job, and ma'am, Sindhu ma'am, you too. Really, from the very beginning, I was just engrossed in listening to your session. Although I'm a man of accounts, but even though I'm enjoying business studies session and each and every session really from the day one. So I think I too have become a man of business studies now.
Great, sir. Great.
By just listening to you both, really. And the best thing which I observed was the connectivity with the children, right? And the second thing is the live examples which you were citing during your session, and especially Sumita ma'am at the last when you talked about the tips and tricks, that how you can score 100 marks. And everybody in commerce stream, they all aspire to become a chartered accountant or to go to the Shri Ram College of Commerce, right? So I think because of the initiative being taken by CTF and of course with support of you all, our children are in position to reach to that college now. This is what I do feel. So thank you so much. And Meera ma'am, I would like to see you, ma'am, here on the screen, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am has been a wonderful support, sir. Ma'am has been a wonderful support.
Yeah, because
exactly.
Of course, I would like to introduce Meera ma'am also. Reason being because she was at the back end. So naturally, she will also be available with the children so that they should also be aware of that who was the person who was kept on answering the question.
Giving answers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So thank you so much. You have really proved that Team CTF can do anything, and your performance was, of course, beyond expectation.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you and all the best. And let me tell you, sir, the children are so thankful to the teachers and to the platform CTF. I received innumerable thanks and I said, okay, God bless and all the best. And let's, living in these uncertain times, children, just relax, take it easy, one day at a time and you will rock. Don't worry.
And children, you need not to worry at all. We people are there, the CTF is there with you, right? And that's why our slogan is also there, CTF because CTF cares, right?
Yes, sir.
So you need not to worry at all. We are there with you all. And I'm very much sure you're going to do the best. And you are fortunate enough that you are having the guidance from the teachers who have experience of giving 100 marks every year. It is not 1 year or 2 years. They have experience of giving 100 marks every year. So children, I wish you all the best.